Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very, very special edition of the Scruffy Movies podcast. I am Zach Wallace.
And I'm John Crocker.
And currently in hand, I'm holding a Mike's Hard Lemonade, which is my favorite alcoholic beverage, because we have been hyping this up for a while now, and we are very excited to present you guys with our commentary for Star Wars The Holiday Special.
Yes, this is the first time I've ever seen this, and I've been looking forward to it for a very long time. We've been planning this for a while.
I have seen it once, and it was a long time ago, and the only thing I remember it was terrible. So we have some drinks. Crocker's got a much manlier drink, a Heineken, and I've got some Mike's Hard Lemonade, and we are gonna maybe not rip it to shreds, but we'll just see what happens. So this episode might be a little long. Like I said, we are literally going to be just giving you guys a commentary as we watch the movie. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kick it off. I don't know if you have any bootlegged copies yourself. If you would like to play our commentary over it, I'm hitting the play button now.
And you might be able to hear this in the
you might be able to hear
too.
a little bit. Hopefully. You can hear some, so you kind of know if we're lining up. This is very strange music.
I'm not really sure what to expect.
Oh my gosh, this copyright notice is it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man. Millennium Falcon.
Chewie and Han.
Oh. This came out even before Empire Strikes Back did. This came out like the Christmas after A New Hope.
Really?
Yeah. And it is clearly on a television show budget.
Oh, yes. Chewie's got family waiting on him for Christmas.
No, it's for like Earth Day or something like that.
Ah, okay.
Because since Jesus never existed in this galaxy.
I was going to ask if it was like Christmas, but that makes sense.
No, it's like Earth Day or Planet Day. It's something. They say it, but we might have talked over it. It's not even close to the Star Wars. Oh my god.
The Star Wars
Yeah.
Man.
Totally not the right text.
This is right after he got into a car crash and had to have facial reconstructive surgery, so he looks weird in this. Mark Hamill.
Yeah, they say that's why they started him off with the ice beast. I forget the name in the next movie. So
the Tauntaun?
The Tauntaun, so it justifies having the scar.
Oh, no, not the Tauntaun. In the actual cave?
Yeah, he sleeps in a Tauntaun.
Yeah, he sleeps in a Tauntaun. See, this is they got literally everybody from a giant blockbuster movie to come back and play their roles.
Back in these days, though, there wasn't a whole lot of other things going on, I bet.
His wife, Mala.
Oh, that's pretty horrible.
Chewbacca's family.
His father,
Itchy.
His son, Lumpy.
Lumpy.
Chewbacca's family,
Nala,
Itchy,
and Lumpy.
Wow.
Beatrice Arthur.
And this is totally like a Gilligan's Island style, like show you the faces as they say the names.
Diane Carroll.
Man, this I am not.
The Jefferson Starship.
Jefferson Starship.
I am not very well versed
Harvey Korman.
in 1970s
Pop culture.
Yeah, pop culture, because half of these people I don't know.
On the Star Wars.
The Boba Fett animated special. This is how Boba Fett was introduced. Is the Star Wars Holiday Special, and it is the best part of this whole thing.
This is the first time we've seen Boba Fett?
Yeah, first time.
General Motors.
We're having a little bit of sponsored by here. We got a General Motors commercial.
Gotta pay the bills.
There we are. Clearly not a painting. Clearly a home. Man. Some after-school special music.
It's totally like
this is so rough.
Chewie's sitcom family.
Now, I told Crocker a little bit about this as we were getting in, But there are full scenes, and you're about to see full scenes of Chewbacca's family speaking in Wookiee, but there are no subtitles. You don't know what they're saying.
Just have to infer. I mean, I have a pretty good idea of what's happening right now in Chewbacca's household.
Well, they haven't started speaking yet. I mean, they have. Uh-oh, Itchy's getting mad at Lumpy. Having some familial drama. Look!
I mean, they are, movie quality outfits.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so shocked this holiday special didn't make a very good holiday special, because they did everything as right as they could, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they have good costumes, all the actors. I'm almost like 100% positive that George Lucas had nothing to do with this.
I would wager we would not be seeing what we're seeing right now if George Lucas had anything to do with it.
He has apparently gone on record as saying he wants to get every copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special and destroy it. He does not want it to be out in the world. Now, there might be some pauses, because like we said, this is us just watching it.
Yeah.
So we might not talk the whole time, but we will certainly talk when things get interesting. Like that lovely apron Chewbacca's wife is wearing.
And she just roared at Lumpy to go clean his room or take up the laundry or do something.
He's got a big green trash can.
I love how they live in like a tree house, but it's also decorated in like 1970s.
Yeah.
Stereotypical family home.
Decor. It looks like the Brady Bunch lived there, except they're on Kashyyyk. And not on Earth.
Exactly.
Uh-oh, careful, Lumpy. Lumpy's gonna fall. Lumpy, you fool! Lumpy's about to eat it. I don't remember like half of the stuff that happens in this. Like, I don't remember this entire thing. Man. You know what? I've also actually never seen either of the Ewok movies that came out.
Me either. I heard they're worse than this, though.
The Ewok movie. They got to be pretty rough to be worse than this. At least the first one. The first one was good enough to constitute a second.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe the second's pretty bad, but the first one's at least got to be better than this.
They totally need to bring back the Star Wars Holiday Special and do it right with all the new characters.
Yeah, with Rey and Finn and Poe. Man, I was just at like a huge used DVD and bookstore and stuff today. I wish I would have thought to look for the Ewok movies, because they probably had them there.
Yeah, probably.
I wasn't even thinking about it. Because I do want to see them. They're doing like some Power Rangers acting in these suits.
For real. So what they're saying right now is, I miss Chewie. I wish he could come home for the holidays.
It's okay. He'll be home for the holidays.
Well, maybe not. Maybe he's surprising him, because he's out, saving the galaxy.
Uh-oh. Itchy's got a plan for something kooky.
I love how they made like an old man Chewbacca with a cane and gray hair.
I really hope that Chewbacca's mom's name is Scratchy.
Scratchy. I thought it was Nala. Or is that his wife?
That's his wife.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that's his dad. I don't think it's his father-in-law. I think it's his dad.
Is that his little brother or his...
That's his son.
Okay. Oh, he's got a son. Chewie has a son.
Yeah, Lumpy is his son.
Okay.
But this was clearly kicked out of canon by
yes.
us never hearing from Chewbacca's family again. Here comes the first, guest appearance, I think. Yep. God, this is so weird. Oh, man. I hope you guys can hear this music. If you've never seen the holiday special, just by hearing this music, You are getting like 1/10 of a glimpse of what we are actually watching right now. So I really hope you can hear this.
I feel like I don't know enough about what was happening back then to know what we just saw.
Oh no, it's still happening. This isn't just like a cutaway quick thing. This is like a full movie with this stuff going down.
It's like semi-Cirque du Soleil.
Man, this
Gymnastics.
is rough. I can't imagine being like, because I mean, if you were such a big Star Wars fan in 1977, this was the next thing you got.
Oh yeah.
This was what you got before Empire came out. So if you were such a huge Star Wars fan, and then you're like, oh my gosh, the holiday special, I can't wait, and you tuned into this, I don't know if I would be very pleased.
But I don't know. I don't know enough about like what else was on by then because, I mean, if it was this or the Brady Bunch, you know, you might as well be watching this.
I don't know, dude. The Brady Bunch is better than this.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, man. This music just makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
It's not like a cool, like, oh wow, look at all this tricks music. It just makes me feel strange. Monkeys applauding. I'm clapping, but I'm holding a Mike's-Hard Lemonade. Oh man, we are only 10 minutes in. This is like a full hour, 30-minute movie.
Yeah. Oh, it's over an hour 30. It's like an hour 40.
Oh man. Okay, well that was the end of the first weird little guest appearance.
Nice performance from somebody that I have no idea who they are.
Yeah. With like music that you would hear in a horror movie nowadays.
Yeah, for real. Didn't we get a look at the Wookiee homeworld at some point?
In episode 3.
Yeah.
We got a glimpse at Kashyyyk. Because Yoda goes and meets Chewbacca.
Right.
And Chewbacca and another Wookiee, which I don't know who they are, end up saving Yoda when Order 66 is called in. They're speaking in Wookiee. How's she reading in English?
That's true. Didn't even think about that.
That kind of looked more like Wookiee. Scanning for starships.
Yeah.
I know one that's coming in.
Just
The Jefferson starship.
just the technology that, you know, all Wookiee families have is a scanning radar in their primitive treehouse.
Scanning radar with like a mini screen and screen picture-in-picture action. Oh, they got a laptop.
Got a whole entertainment system.
Oh, here we go.
Center.
Well, R2 and Luke.
Where's Chewbacca?
He looks. This whole thing is just like giving me the heebie-jeebies for some reason this time I'm watching it. Just freaking me
It's
out.
pretty heebie-jeebie inducing.
I know. Well, I've also had just like a weird day overall. So like coming home and having a few drinks and watching Star Wars the holiday special is not helping me like get back to normal.
Have you had a chance to, so while we're on the topic of Star Wars, have you watched that fan film I sent you?
I have not. Crocker actually sent me a fan film called Vader, Shards of the Resistance or
Shards
something
of the
like that.
Past.
Shards of the Past. And Crocker is swearing up and down by it.
Well,
It's awesome. I have not
think-
been able to watch it yet.
I think that for a low budget, or not low budget, but for a not for profit a bunch of bros getting together and making a fan film.
Pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait on this, so I may or may not have watched most fan films ever made at this point. And this is by far the best fan film that I've seen. But I have found a few other good ones that are worth watching. That are
one
actually worth watching.
You sent me, and all I saw was the thumbnail of it, the Darth Maul one.
That's probably the second best one.
Is it? It looked really interesting. That's a guy, which I'm really sad now that we might not see a Solo 2, because that's a dude that I want to see more about.
Well, but they set the story up in Solo 2, or in Solo. So
I know, but I don't know if we're ever going to see a Solo 2 now.
Well,
if we're ever going to see a duo.
I think Disney knows that Solo didn't flop because it was a bad movie. I think Disney is fully aware of the situation they created
with Episode
8. So I think that it not doing so hot probably would not indicate whether we're going to get a second one quite as heavily as it typically would otherwise.
I really hope we get a second one. I love Solo.
Oh, we're already
Life Day.
Life Day.
Did you get a chance to watch Never Hike Alone?
No.
When I sent Crocker a Friday the 13th fan film that I love called Never Hike Alone. You guys should check it out if you're Friday the 13th fans. It is really, really, really well done.
Yeah, I've started to learn more about this fan film thing. Apparently, as long as you don't ever make any sort of profit ever off of it, and there's like financing rules, like you can't do a Kickstarter, you can't do a fundraiser, you just gotta foot the bill out of your own pocket. And if you can do that, then they'll basically let you make whatever you can make.
Never Hike Alone was really smart because they positioned it as like a Bear Grylls type guy going into the woods and hiking by himself. So he's using GoPros and stuff,
right? Because
that's what he's doing to film himself.
Yeah, totally.
And then he ends up hiking into Camp Crystal Lake. Oh, she's connecting. Tracing post Wookiee Planet C. Trading post. I need glasses. It's not a joke. I really do need glasses.
It's all right. I can see fine, and it's still a blurry movie.
And this was recorded off of like a VHS in the 70s, and then somebody just happened to put it on a DVD. This is a bootleg I bought at a con. This has never been officially released.
Okay. I thought that it might have gotten officially released at some point.
No, never. The closest we've gotten is, I think, on the Complete Saga Blu-ray that came out in like 2009 or 10. They have the Boba Fett animated short, and that's the only piece of the Star Wars Holiday Special that's ever been officially released by Lucasfilm.
Gotcha.
Nothing else has been. I went to a horror convention in 2011, and they had Star Wars The Holiday Special. I bought Star Wars The Holiday Special, and then like a bunch of Friday the 13th work print versions.
I hate fish.
I am one Mike Sard down.
One Mike Sard down. We've got it looks like someone who works pretty close to the Empire, going pet shopping.
Yeah, it looks like he's talking to Geppetto from Pinocchio.
Yeah. This is the first time I've ever seen whatever his rank is with those gigantic helmets that they made fun of in Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Without the face mask on.
Yeah. Darth helmet.
Yeah. So she was just sitting there watching them talk to one another. And
yeah, I guess so.
She was just creeping on them for like 5 minutes.
I'm telling you, dude, the holiday special is a weird one. I feel like I'm gonna say that. Whoever's
1,000 times.
Yeah, whoever's listening to this or watching this, there's gonna be a lot of me saying, "Oh man," and a lot of this is a weird one.
What's the matter? Would you like this? Just a groomer. Just a groomer. Just a groomer, you say?
Nice, some nice camera work, some weird zooms for no reason.
Yep.
Evidently, you haven't read the instructions, the warranty, and the guarantee. Besides shaving
the warranty and the guarantee.
Lift stains off clothing, faces, and hands. Cleans teeth, fingers, and toenails. Washes eyes, pierces ears, calculates, modulates, and syncopates life rhythms, and can repeat the entire Imperial Penal Code, all 17 volumes, in half the time of the old XP21. Just the thing to keep you squeaky clean. I use one of these all the time.
Really?
Well, not all the time, but some of the time. Oh, another outstanding feature of this little model. You can recharge it by simply plugging it into any ordinary laser outlet.
Crocker and I are both very entertained by
Yes.
this guy talking about whatever razor this is. We're both
Plug it
just
in.
sitting here quietly.
Plug it into any laser outlet to charge it. He just gave him a terms and service breakdown.
I thought I might embarrass you when I told you to accept it as a gift. You don't like embarrassing people. I don't like being embarrassed myself. That's why.
I think this guy needs a Star Wars spinoff. This
The,
needs
the,
to be
the trading post guy.
the Trading Post guy, a Star Wars story.
Yes. That is a fan film waiting to happen.
Now this looks like it was lifted directly from the movie, and I'm almost positive it was.
Are they saying anything Life Day specific?
I think just they had James Earl Jones voice it over, and they're like, we don't see Darth Vader's mouth move.
Yeah, but
it looks better in the
we
movie.
saw the other guy though.
I know, but his was very like bop, 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 just like
Okay.
opening and closing his mouth. I don't know if he was saying the words that were coming out.
Because that definitely was the best little 15 seconds so far.
Yeah, the best looking for sure.
Yeah, totally. Now we're back to the Chewie sitcom. The Wookiee sitcom.
Man, the music in this 70s was a weird time.
I would be curious to know if John Williams did the music for this.
About as how well as you could guarantee me George Lucas had nothing to do with this, I can about guarantee that John Williams also had nothing to
Yeah.
do with this. It's a nice man playing a woman robot.
They introduced it when they first started.
Yeah.
So,
It's a famous actor from the 70s.
it's like an infomercial.
Now,
I'm going to be using the tenderest cut of the bantha, the loin. The loin is very tasty and serves for us.
oh,
Of course, if your
Bantha
family
loin.
has a hearty appetite, I would suggest that old popular holiday favorite, the bantha rump.
I don't know what this is. This movie's like freaking me out. It's just like the way he was staring into the camera.
Freaking me out, man.
This movie's like scared
And
me.
it does look like that she's got like a router on her kitchen
Oh my god, it's just weird.
kitchen table.
Now, one thing they've never actually talked about is Chewbacca and apparently his family can understand the English language perfectly, but
Right.
they can't speak it at all.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something to do with like being a Wookiee, like how dogs can understand words but they can't speak them back to you.
Right.
I wonder if that has anything to do like
I
just with
think
being
so.
a Wookiee, like they don't have the vocal capacity to speak English language back to you. They can only growl in their own language that they've
The
developed.
vocal capacity is a good way to put it. So Chewie's in this, right?
Yeah, he was in the very beginning.
Right. So why take the first quarter of the movie and focus on Wookiees, but not Chewie? Like, have Chewie not even present.
Chewbacca is a weird one because literally anybody could put on that suit and be Chewbacca.
Right.
But like Han Solo and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, who we haven't seen yet, all those guys I feel like were like, well, we're big celebrities now because of Star Wars. Pay us money if you want us to be in this whole thing. And they're like, you can be in it for 5 minutes. And they're like, all right.
While we're stirring, we also whip. So it's stir, whip,
Whip.
stir.
Stir, whip, stir.
Let's try it again together at an increased tempo because precision is very important in this recipe.
I mean, that's pretty good projection into the future of what flat screen TVs are going to look like, though.
That is true. They called that pretty
Like,
well.
that looks
It looks
that looks like a
Yeah.
modern TV sitting on the counter. And I swear it looks like there's like an internet router sitting next to it.
It
Look at
looks
that
like-
blinky thing.
Yeah, she's streaming.
Yep.
She's watching this on Netflix.
Exactly. Or the Cooking Network.
On Flicks.
Oh.
Oh my god,
Oh.
3 hands.
Got another arm coming out.
God, could you imagine, like, it's bad enough being in the Star Wars Holiday Special, but could you imagine telling people you were in Star Wars, and they're like, oh, which one? And you're like, I was the third hand to the robot lady cooking portion of Star Wars.
I'm definitely in it.
I
definitely
hid,
there.
I hid behind the man dressed as a woman robot's cape and stirred a pot. Oh, no, both of them
And
now.
held her sneeze for.
I don't think this lady is a robot. I think just the way she looks like a robot to me.
Yeah, I mean, I fully believe it when you say robot, but I've never heard them or seen anything to indicate
she hasn't
specific.
said anything that would make it seem. And also, robots in this aren't very human-like. Like, you can clearly tell in a Star Wars movie who is a robot and who is a human. So she's probably a human. She stopped streaming. The blinking lights went off.
They did. So what year was this?
1978. That was
Okay.
also clearly lifted from the movie.
Yes.
Like, this is after the summer of 1977, going into Christmas of 78. This came out. This was the next thing people got after. This just blows my mind. Like how people get... It's like if Iron Man came out, and everyone was like, whoa, that was awesome. And then they had the Iron Man holiday special, and it sucked.
But nobody watches holiday specials anymore.
That's
like back
true.
in these days,
I agree.
this was one of only 5 things that were on that you could tune into
Yeah.
at this particular time when it came out.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Say that again. One like they won't soon forget. Wait, I lost control of remote cannons.
It's funny for, like, Harrison Ford was always like, I want to be killed as Han Solo. I don't want to be in the next movie. Just kill me in the next movie.
Yeah.
And he still came back for all original 3 Star Wars, Episode 7, and a holiday special as Han Solo.
Well, he may not have had that. He may not have done the whole kill me thing until going into the 3rd movie when they put him in the.
Attention.
I was like Grand Moff Tarkin. I don't know if that's
It
who
is.
that's supposed to be or not. Is it Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yeah, look at him.
Rebel activity on the Kazook planet. The Empire has declared martial law. A blockade
Well,
has been set up around the planet. No ships
if not,
will
it's
be permitted
someone
to
who
land
is supposed to
or
pass
take
as
off.
him.
Yeah, someone, they definitely made him look. They're like, here, put on this Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
I drank too much, sorry.
Already slurring your words.
Put on this Grand Moff Markin shirt.
If only I knew the ranks better, as indicated by the pins on the shirt.
Oh, I guarantee you they have that information available.
Oh, I know they do for sure.
Everything in Star Wars is well documented.
That's like the first thing I look at when,
People are on screen.
or when I'm watching Star Trek to see where, like, if I just catch one on TV,
Yeah.
like, I know the people that got promoted as the show went on, so I'll look on their collar and be like, oh, okay, he's a lieutenant now, so obviously we're, like, on the, back end.
Yeah.
The mind evaporator. That's it. The mind evaporator.
He came over. Trading Post Man. A Star Wars story.
So, Trading Post Man was at the Wookiee Trading Post 3 or whatever, and
Yeah.
he said, don't worry, Chewie's on the way home, he's coming to you, but somehow he still beat him there.
Yeah. If he made it,
Chewie will.
Chewie and Han will, he said.
He said hand.
Which is not how he pronounces it.
That's how Billy D. Williams pronounced it, isn't it?
Yeah, Han. But I feel like that's like Lando's character.
That's
Hey, Han!
right.
He's kind of doing it just like to kind of dig at him a little bit. I
Exactly,
feel like he
yeah.
knows how to pronounce it. I think they made fun of that in Solo.
No,
didn't they?
totally.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. They would draw attention to that.
That's like it. There's is one line in the Avengers where Iron Man grabs Hawkeye and he's like flying him up. It's near the end, and he's like flying him up to a building, and he's like, "Better clinch up, Legolas."
Yeah.
Like he overpronounces it, and I'm like, I feel like everyone on set was like, "It's Legolas," but nobody was gonna tell Robert Downey Jr. that. So it just came out in the movie as "Clinch up, Legolas."
That's what happens when you read a script and you don't say it until you get there. You don't you don't learn the word by hearing others say it. You learn it by reading it. I've mispronounced loads of words over my life because I see them on paper and build it in
Yeah.
my brain, and then when I get in front of other people, they're like, "Oh, you're way off, bro."
Yeah.
Like,
I do that with actors' names a lot.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
A lot. Like, her Wonder Woman's name is Gal Gadot. Like, you pronounce the T. But I always just thought you didn't pronounce the T for some
Gal
reason.
Gadot.
Yeah, so I was calling her Gal Gadot.
Always, I can never pronounce. He plays Heimdall.
Oh, Idris Elba.
Yeah,
Idris.
Idris.
Yeah, Idris Elba is his name. Yeah.
Oh, they're strapping him to the VR machine.
Happy Life Day. He's about to get his hair did. I like that they made him super old by, like, they kind of took out some teeth and put his, like, lip way far up. Like how old people look
like
when they get their teeth taken out.
Chin, you know? Yeah. Now we're getting. This must be the Jefferson Starship intro.
I think it is.
It's got to be. They just put him in some sort of VR headset, and now he's looking at like
a kaleidoscope.
Late 70s kaleidoscope. Yeah. This is before we had digital visualizers.
I feel like I'm watching Suspiria, man. This movie's creeping me out tonight for some reason.
It's a pretty creepy
Just
movie.
like the graphics and music. I don't know why. It's just creeping me out. Have you ever seen Suspiria?
I feel like I have.
Suspiria is really good. It is very, like, they put very bright and jarring colors in, very, like, loud music and, like, heavy music in to make you feel weird.
Right.
Like, they purposefully make it not feel like real life. And it just, like, it's not scary so much as it, like, unnerves me. And that's what's happening. It doesn't feel like real life. And it's making me, like, unnerved. I don't feel calm watching this.
This is kind of like what I expected to happen in Get Out when she throws you in the hole or whatever.
You would see a sequin-haired woman in a 1970s kaleidoscope.
Yeah, bro. This is definitely more like... This is what you would find in my brain. Instead of what we got in Get Out. Like, this has a way better high likelihood of occurring.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Well, the sunken place was like something that they created, though. It wasn't like in the people's heads. That was like something of their creation that she sent them to in their minds. Although I guess, I mean, it could be argued that we only did see in the one person's mind, so the sunken place could look different for everybody.
That's true. See, I thought she was just like suppressing you within yourself. So she was just like forcing you behind the control panel kind of thing.
Yeah. They knew they like couldn't fully erase it, so they just suppressed it.
You see, I am your fantasy. I am your experience.
Oh man. What? 30 minutes, dude. We still got an hour and 10 left.
I am your pleasure. This is our moment.
Crack a cold one.
This is our moment together in time. That we might turn this moment into an eternity.
This grandpa's definitely watching like some 1970s porn right now.
I feel like it. I mean,
This is
I feel like this would hit so much harder if I knew who she was.
Yeah.
Because they introduced her as a
unaware.
special guest, too.
Yeah, I remember they said her name, and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know who she
Nothing
was.
but, yeah.
Probably
no
a
neurons are
singer
firing
or
off that.
something.
Yeah.
Because I'm not very well versed in the music genre whatsoever, even like present day. Oh, well, she started singing.
I mean, I recognize her voice now that she's singing.
You have more of a chance of figuring it out than me. I have literally no idea.
Which it could be somebody I know. I just don't know what she looked like pre-1980.
Right.
You know?
Oh, man. Well, while she's singing, and we have a quick minute, you want to do halftime really quick?
Hang on. I'm going to see if I can sound hound.
I'm trying to keep talking so we don't get hit with, like, Let me be quiet for your sound.
Is this moment
There were no close matches.
They don't even know. They're like your app's like, dude, what are you watching?
Yeah, for real. All right, what you got for halftime?
Hellboy trailer was very interesting. And they can't help this. That's just how Hellboy looks. He looks exactly like Ron Perlman's Hellboy. So,
No, he's
does
got a
to
much
me.
more like square chin. In fact, when I
But
saw
he's
it,
just sleek.
when I saw it, I was like, I like Ron Perlman's look better.
Yeah, but
So there's enough of a difference that in my brain I went, I like the old one.
He looks to me. It's like seeing Iron Man's suit in Iron Man, and then seeing it in like Infinity War.
Right.
Like you can tell it's still Iron Man, but the suits look different. And I mean, they can't help it. That's how the comic book character
he
looks.
Upgraded his suit over time.
I know, but this one's like it's just like between two movies. Now he looks different.
Yeah, I mean, it's because the actor changed. It would be like any movie where the actor changes.
And it just, I don't know. Like when he opened his mouth to speak, and it wasn't Ron Perlman's voice. I was like, oh,
weird.
Yeah, it was like, oh, the movie looks really good.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah, and I could not remember when I saw that if he grew his, just couldn't remember if he grew his horns out in the first one or the second one.
Pretty sure it's the first one.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it's the first one.
So I was super pumped, and I was like, heck yeah, I get to see him with horns. And I was like, wait a second.
We
We've already saw horns. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. Saw Aquaman last night. That was awesome.
Was it?
A total 80s throwback. It felt like Indiana Jones was on an aquatic adventure.
Really?
Yes. They were all like about searching for this ancient trident, and it was like that was the whole movie. It wasn't like a big complicated superhero plot. It was literally like Atlantis is in trouble. We need Atlan's trident.
Gotcha.
Let's go get it. And like the music and everything, it was sweet. That's about all I can think of.
Do you think they're coming on the upswing then?
DC is really good at solo movies. So far, I enjoyed Man of Steel. I can understand why some people didn't, but I enjoyed Man of Steel. Wonder Woman's really good, and Aquaman was really good. DC is great at their solo movies. It's like when they put stuff together.
The amalgamations.
Yeah, the amalgamations is weird. They don't do good with amalgamations.
So, I saw that they're coming, or I saw Will Smith's Genie.
Oh,
so
yeah. I forgot about that.
Looking forward to Aladdin.
Yeah.
Seeing how they do that.
Yeah.
Because they have had some Disney movies sort of, coming back around or whatever like that. Remakes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily dig the way he looked, but apparently
I think he's
that's
going
the
to be
human
really,
form. Yeah, that's what they said.
Which is what I thought when I saw it.
By the way, we're looking at Leia now for the first time.
Yes, Leia and C-3PO.
But personally, she's seen happier ones.
I don't want to type the channel.
Also, Men in Black International.
That was my other one. I was waiting to watch Leia. You're still in my freaking thunder,
okay,
bro.
let's just watch Leia.
Men in Black International. Which I'm super optimistic about. The trailer,
I am too.
The trailer could kind of go either way. It wasn't like a spectacular trailer, but it wasn't terrible either.
Yeah.
So obviously holding out judgment on that one, but I am super pumped.
Yeah. I really like all the actors and stuff that they got, and I think that they can make a pretty good movie. Although they pumped out like from the director of The Fate of the Furious,
saw that.
Which is my least favorite Fast and Furious movie of like the recent Fast and Furious.
Right.
So like the director of the worst of the best of the Fast and Furious franchise.
I'm Sondak, a local trader, a friend of the rebellion, and a member of the Alliance.
Good.
He's gonna end up being a bad guy.
I know I can count on you to take care
I don't
of
know
my
if this
friends.
holiday special goes that deep.
Yes, indeed.
I think it's just like a blockade is set up, and like the blockade is the bad guy.
It was the trader in Treehouse with the candlestick.
I don't know if this goes that deep to have like twists and turns like that.
So Chewie made it home. Then it looks like.
What's that I smell?
Is that Chewie?
No, that's his wife.
Nala? Is it Nala?
I don't know if it's Nala or Mala.
I think it might be Mala.
I think it might
Oh
be
yeah,
Chewie.
because there's Chewie and Han.
They're still trying to get through the blockade to get home for Life Day.
I guess you can always tell Chewie because he's got his bandolier.
Yeah.
Even though
Flying to Krypton.
Even though he uses a bow.
Better land on the north side. It'll be safer there.
Hey, that bow's freaking sweet.
It is sweet.
So it's a long
His
walk.
bowcaster.
Bowcaster, I was trying to think of.
You used to charge that. You could charge that up in the Battlefront games and tear through some people with
You
that
just plug it
bowcaster.
into the closest laser outlet, like the group.
Yeah, of course.
Charges it up. I would love for a good, like I'm talking AAA, high production, good Star Wars RPG game to come out, or MMO, which is
Battlefront's
what.
pretty good.
Well, in Star
I mean, it's
Wars,
not really RPG.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But like Star Wars,
Oh!
SWTOR, the Old Republic,
Yeah.
they attempted
Mhm.
to do that, where you could pick like, oh, I want to be a trooper or a bounty hunter or a Jedi Knight or
Yeah.
whatnot, and then you go light and dark. But apparently the game was just shallow,
Yeah.
and it went like free to play. I think not very long after it released. Battlefront's good, but they're just getting so much hate with the loot box stuff and all that. Like that's the reason I didn't play it. It's because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, it's $1,000 if you want Vader," and I was like, "Excuse me."
Yeah. I bought it and I enjoyed the game. It was a lot of fun to play, but it was one of those games that now it's been cycled out of my daily
Right.
of like my games that I play, and I don't really I never think like I feel like playing Battlefront. I never feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
a
like
shame.
you get excited for like 4 or 5 months, you play it for a couple months, and then you're like, okay,
I mean,
good.
I would love nothing more for like a Skyrim or WoW size game to come out in the Star Wars universe, and like if it's as good as one of those two games.
Don't doubt Disney.
Well, EA has the exclusive rights to the Star Wars gaming stuff.
Yeah, until Disney buys EA. I'm still fully convinced that's why they bought 20th Century Fox, is they were like, Sony lets us play with Spider-Man, let us play with the X-Men. And 20th Century Fox was like, no. And Disney was like, is that how you really feel? And they just
Snatch.
slid a check across the table. And they're like, because we don't think you feel that way anymore.
My friend Benjamin says otherwise.
My friend, millions of Benjamins
Yes.
say otherwise.
So we've got stormtroopers.
In Chewbacca's house.
I guess they either locked up or just did away with the rest of the family for the moment.
No, they're out there. But I think that they are...
It's the traitor that led him to him, bro.
No, it's not.
I'm telling you, the traitor's the bad guy.
They literally call it out. They call him the traitor.
The traitor.
Boom. That's To My Cards comedy.
Oh, what is he? So, what's he saying? Like, this is his house or something? Or Wookiee's not allowed to live in this system?
I think they're just on the hunt for Chewbacca and Han Solo. And he's trying to convince them that they don't, like, he doesn't, they don't know where he's at. Or something. I wasn't listening. We were talking about Knights of the Old Republic.
You can go now, and they're in this house.
Well, I'm finishing up here. Why don't you boys take it easy, relax, put your feet up, and make yourself to home. Wookiee food isn't the greatest, but I'm sure that I can whip something up in the kitchen there that we can all eat. You don't mind, do you, Mala?
What? Mala.
Mal.
Oh, you're communicating at home.
Definitely doesn't alert any red flags that you screamed at her without opening your mouth.
Right.
This is a very delicate piece of workmanship, all right.
Let
You know, I can mess up the whole work. Play around, but let me show you how. I gotta turn it on, don't I?
Why are you holding your gun like that?
Just sit down and enjoy it.
Nobody holds...
Oh, that's
What?
where the magazine goes in on those guns, so he's probably holding the magazine like a handle. Because
Well,
nobody from the original movies was there to be like, that's not how we did it.
Yeah.
That's not a handle.
I really want to know if it was a costume choice or if it was this man's choice to be like, I'll wear this shirt, but only if I can wear it with 3 buttons buttoned, and that's it. And they were like,
Bro, 1978, bro.
dude, I don't know if you've seen your body.
That's the way things were back then. The more chest hair you can show, the better.
Oh, here comes Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, this is definitely Jefferson Starship. It's the first guitar I've heard since we started the movie.
It's the first guitar I've ever heard in a Star Wars anything.
True. I mean, we throw off on this, but I bet these graphics were like the bomb diggity.
They
back
did
in
the
those
iPod
days.
commercials before Apple did it.
That's true.
I know, that's what I have had the thought in my head, and I know that it's coming, that in like 20 years from now, we're going to be watching, like, we go and see Infinity War, and we're like, wow, those graphics, like, we don't even question it, because it just
Right.
looks so real to us at this point. And in 20 years, people are going to look back and be like, wow, those were crap.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like going back and watching any movie now that's like, I mean, I guess, when was it, like, somewhere around the millennium, like somewhere around 2000, when practical effects started to like really go out and special effects started to come in.
I would say probably around 95 when the first Jurassic Park hit, because I
Yeah.
think that was the big, because they were going to make the dinosaurs claymation.
Right.
And then somebody was like, well, hey, check this out. And they showed
What they
Steven
could do.
Spielberg, like a digital version. And he was like, oh, hey, whoa. And I
Yeah.
think when Jurassic Park dropped, everybody was like, wait, what is that? Are you guys, can we do that? Can everybody do that?
So it probably was around 2000 then when everybody started to hop on it.
Yeah.
So anything before then, you go back and it's like, I mean, terrible effects now. Like, there's a
know.
lot of movies that didn't hold up. And not even considering the fact that they're using like bag phones and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is funny, too, because Jurassic Park's effects, I mean, there are some where you're like, oh, like, effect.
Right.
But, man, they still hold up
Oh
pretty
yeah.
good.
Well, it just looks like they were sort of placed on the screen sometimes.
Yeah, but
Like
I
they
mean,
didn't
like,
fit in with the rest of the movie.
for like 95% of the effects in that movie, for it to be one of, like, the first effects movie, man,
Not bad.
that sucker holds up pretty good.
That's true. But you've probably also been watching the remastered version.
That's true.
So-
95's version might look a little bit different
Yeah.
than 2015's version.
95's version was closer to this.
It was like clip art. The dinosaurs like clicked across the screen,
Like cardboard cutouts.
and everybody was like, "Whoa!"
This is like back in 1978. All the cool kids that knew Jefferson Starship was going to be on this. This is where they tune out after this part. So like,
This is-
all right,
yeah.
we saw him play live. Now we're all going to go
This is
smoke
like,
cigarettes and loiter in parking lots with our friends.
and then there's the one cool kid who's secretly like a huge Star Wars fan that wanted to watch the rest of it. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Well, guys, come on,
We already have
how do we
there.
know if Chewie's gonna get home for Life Day?" And they're like, "Are you serious, Reggie?"
So the Chewie thing is like the underlying plot of this.
That's like the plot.
yeah.
Is like Chewie's got to get home, and then but sometimes people come on and do circus acts, and Jefferson Starship sings.
See, I knew there was a lot of like guest stars and stuff, so I didn't know if this would be one of those like where there might be like a host or something like that, and then people just sort of like come and go as clips and scenes and skits here and there.
No, it has a plot, just very thin. It's very few and far between. It's as if they stretched out Finn and Rose's Las Vegas Planet storyline, but into a whole movie.
Yeah,
It's of that
If
plot
they did
caliber
that,
where you're like,
I
why are
would-
we watching this?
I would personally steal a fuel tanker just like they did in Fast and Furious, and get a box of matches and drive to wherever Disney headquarters is and burn it to the ground. If they made an entire film around Finn and Rose. In
Finn and
any
Rose.
of their adventures.
A Star Wars story. I think Rose just hasn't got her due yet, man.
No,
we talked
she
about this in our
sucks.
Star Wars episode.
She's horrible. She should have died in the last movie.
That's because you've only seen her in one movie, and in the one movie, she was a plot device. Wait until You didn't watch episode 5 and see Han and see Lando and be like, whoa, now that's the smoothest dude in the galaxy. It took the next movie for them to develop his character.
I didn't watch it and see Lando and go, that was a mistake. They messed up. They need to get rid of him and write him out now.
You think that now because now you've seen 6 and it colors it in your mind to go back when you watch 5 and you're like, oh, okay.
I mean,
now
at one point I watched
more.
5 without watching 6. I mean, yeah, he was a traitor for like a little minute, but that, you know.
I don't know. I just think she hasn't played her part yet. Now I could be totally wrong when 9 comes out.
She has
and
no
she
part.
could still suck.
Her sister that died was the badass.
But now she does have a part because they're
one.
making Finn fall in love with her.
Are they?
At the end, when she like walks over and Rey's kind of like looking at them and she's like rubbing his head and stuff.
I guess
after
so.
he's been knocked out.
I don't know.
They're definitely gonna make that a love story, a love triangle in 9, or at least that's what they set up. J.J. Abrams might be like, no, I don't know why we gave this dude 8. We need to fix everything he did.
I hope J.J. is just like, Rose showed up for work and he was like, honey, you're not needed anymore. We've had enough of you. You'll be paid because you're contracted. Just don't come out of your trailer for the rest of the film.
I mean, we'll see. I'm holding out hope. I think that Rose could be a cool character in 9. I think that she was underserved in 8 because she was used as a plot device. She was used as somebody to explain to Finn what was happening while Finn was running away from everybody else.
Maybe.
And they couldn't take... The only other person that could have done it was Poe, and they couldn't take Poe away from the subplot they'd already made for him on the ship. They needed Poe on the ship.
Which goes back to the greater problem that just the whole plot, everything sucks.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Like, when they got done with that, and they were like, man, we're going to have to invent characters, and they're going to have to suck for this to, like, work. That's when most people are like, you know what, guys? We're just going to throw this one in the trash, and we're going to start over at the beginning.
Like, General Holdo.
Yes.
They probably really did sit down and be like, okay, we got it. We know the plot that we want to do, but to do it, one person's got to really suck.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a Walkman. I didn't know that Chewbacca had Star-Lord as a son.
Color screen.
Playing some Simon Says. You remember that game?
Were color... Well, I guess going into the 80s, color screens were obviously... Well, this is in color. I retract all of my previous statements.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
This is the Boba Fett. This one's actually really good.
We are waiting the return of Captain Han.
I have seen this. I've seen this demo,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Because it's cool. This was actually the coolest part.
The talisman. It makes things invisible, I think. Yes, even you. Which I think might be an improvement.
C-3PO is getting a little sassy in animated form.
Back when you actually had to, like, draw.
Yeah,
cartoons.
yeah. Instead of just animate.
You know,
Come in, Falcon. It's Chewie, but where's Han?
Apparently,
this
Dr.
is-
Robotnik was helping them.
this is, like, great animation.
He's on a collision
Yeah.
course. That's just we're in mortal danger from our own forces.
It's funny how we can see effects and like just live action stuff from the 70s and be like, whoa, so old. And then this cartoon, which by today's standards is also old, but we're like, wow, yeah, still looks pretty good.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about, like, in the evolution of animation. Like, you kind of know where you're at any given time, and this looks like it was ahead of where it should be for before 1980.
Cartoons, like even when I was a kid, I mean, you probably had the same experience. We would still watch old Looney Tunes,
totally.
Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, stuff that like was kind of way behind where we were at that time in cartoons, but it didn't matter because, like you said, all cartoons kind of have the tracking point.
This totally reminds me of stuff that I would watch growing up, as far as like the style and quality of animation.
This looks like this style of cartoon is like when you were sick on a weekday.
Yes.
What was offered to you on television?
Yo, Hard Limes.
Yeah.
The Panic System. Hang on, R2. What about me? I'm going to shake apart.
I know I've seen loads of cartoons that look just like this, but I can't think of a good example.
sure this is the best way.
It's still, like, it's really interesting now that you mentioned the cartoon thing. I can't stop thinking about it. How interesting it is that, like, you can clearly tell in live action. And now it's gotten to the point, like, if there's a black and white movie,
Yes, how about our
I'm mostly like, nah, I don't really like black and white stuff.
Yeah, me either.
But cartoons is like, yeah, I'll watch the cartoon. Cartoons is anything. I'll watch any kind of cartoon.
Except for like Sin City or something with black and white.
If black and white is an artistic choice and not just because of the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
No, like Clerks, I love Clerks. But it's black and white.
God, I forgot about Clerks being in black and white.
Yeah. Do you know why they did that? It's the same reason they made Night of the Living Dead in black and white. Because you don't have to worry about professional lighting and making everything look good.
Right.
Because it's in black and white.
So, yeah, it just lowers the budget
Yeah.
big time.
Because color really is a lot different under lights. Like, there's colors that are... And if you don't have the budget to do color correction, easiest way to fix that problem is by putting it in black and white.
Nice.
And that's why Clerks was legitimately an independent film. Kevin Smith just maxed out credit cards and shot it himself in the store that he worked at, and then sold it at a convention, at a movie festival.
How far away?
Settle down. All they do is eat.
This is all we have,
All
but
they do
he's
is
welcome to it.
You are foolish to waste your kindness on this dumb creature. No lower life form is worth going hungry for. I take it you have no love of the Empire.
I don't.
Well, neither do I. It will be easy to find the ship you seek.
I hope that the computer can pick up the audio when we stop talking. I
Yeah.
hope that it can pick up, because I hope it's just not just like silence.
I think it can.
I think it can. I
think it
really
can.
hope it does. Oh, here we go.
Friend,
This one was recorded TV8 KCCI TV in Des Moines, Iowa.
I love that. They're just like, we're going to take a moment for station identification.
This one even says, it says on my bootleg KCCI version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there must be different recorded versions out there of like different channels people got it from at the
Oh,
time.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any commercials yet.
They probably edited a lot of them out. I think they only put that sponsored in by because it was technically still like part of it.
Yeah.
What did he do to Luke?
He didn't do anything. R2-D2 has detected
Bach looks like he's about to
contamination.
start dancing.
It must have come from the talisman. R2 says it's some kind of sleeping virus that only affects humans. He says the only way to keep them alive is to let the blood rush at their heads.
I know this sleeping virus the Empire uses on its enemies. They have a remedy for it in the city.
See, but that's Django's Fett's helmet.
I'm afraid Chewbacca insists on going with you.
You'll only
That
get
is
in the
definitely
way.
Jango Fett's helmet. Like with the blue and stuff, that is not Boba Fett's helmet that we know today.
Yeah.
So they may have edited it differently. You know what? Actually, probably, I bet if you looked at the trivia for Star Wars Episode 2, they would say they designed Jango Fett's helmet off of Boba Fett's first appearance
Probably.
to make it like a Easter
Older.
egg.
Yeah.
I bet they totally did that on purpose.
But that's for sure Boba Fett.
Yes. Jango Fett died in 2. Couldn't be anybody else but Boba.
Yeah, you're right.
The only other Mandalorian that we know of in the galaxy is coming up on the TV series of The Mandalorian. We haven't seen it yet.
Do you understand?
You obviously don't follow the Mandalorian's Instagram page because there's a lot of them out there in the universe, bro. Or
I
Instagram.
only
What's
know
that,
of
Facebook?
the 3.
Sherlock update.
I know Jango, Boba, and then whatever the main guy in The Mandalorian is called.
I don't know if we've got a name for him yet, have we?
Yeah, I don't know if they've... I think they've just called it, like, The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I have made contact with the rebels and all
Yeah.
you wish, Darth Vader.
What is it now?
Uh-oh.
Well, that's definitely a commercial break.
Yeah. They've
So
done it.
you're right,
They've done it a
yeah.
couple times when the stormtroopers opened the door. It was like bum bum bum, and it kind of faded to black and then faded back in. I used to watch so many movies that were like made for TV and just movies that were on TV when I was a kid that I legit thought that every movie had that like fade in fade out thing because every movie I saw had that.
Had it, yeah.
And then when I actually started to watch movies, I was like, oh, they don't.
Yeah, in fact, I think because TV shows now realize that most of their viewership will come from like streaming services after the fact.
Yeah.
They've sort of changed the way they go straight into commercials. So it's more like just a direct scene change now.
Yeah.
Like when it comes back, you'll be in a totally different setting, different environment. It'll be like a different act instead of picking up exactly where you left off. Because that just so happens to be where the script fell, where the dude said, "Oh, we need to take a commercial break."
I agree, and it's funny that you mentioned that because it actually harkens back to our last podcast. I was watching Home Alone Taking Back the House, which was released straight to TV, so it has those like,
yeah.
But they deleted the fade in, fade out, so they just kept it as one long movie, and you can tell at some points when the commercial breaks work because it kind of holds on like a. For a little too long,
right?
And then it'll cut to like just the next line of dialogue. But they specifically had one where somebody sneaks up on Kevin and he goes ah and just screams, and then it's supposed to cut at him screaming, and then commercial, and then come back on with the continuation of the scene. But because there's no commercial, he goes ah, and then the shot changes. He's not screaming anymore, and the guy
abrupt stop.
Yeah, and the guy's like, "What are you doing sitting in here?" Or something like that.
What's the matter with R2?
Yeah, it's an abrupt stop because they deleted that fade in, fade out from it.
Faithful ally. That simply does not feed properly into R2's information bank. What are you talking about?
Man, you know, when I was a kid, I wasn't that big of a Star Wars fan, really. I think I told that story on the podcast, didn't I?
I think so.
I think I did. So it's crazy that, like, for our Christmas special, we're doing a Star Wars thing now. Also, on my third mic's hard, so if I'm getting a little more talkative, that's why.
This is like my favorite franchise ever, probably. I mean, if they were like, if someone came to me tomorrow and they were like, so movies are done, entertainment industry is dead, we can only afford to like use one franchise to make anything else from here moving forward, I would probably go with Star Wars.
I would go with Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's probably my favorite franchise of all time.
I can see that. I mean,
just so wide.
Just the Marvel universe, because you could draw from anything at that point, and then you could keep it interesting literally forever.
I'd be like Marvel movies, and they'd be like, done.
Yeah, we got plenty.
They're 10 years deep at this point, and I have literally not enjoyed one yet. And not enjoyed one
and
yet.
We haven't, they haven't even dug deep and, like, done any just weird, obscure characters.
The weirdest one so far has been, like, Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. And they've gotten both of them.
Was one of the original Avengers, but Guardians of the Galaxy was really kind of unknown unless you read it.
And now they brought both of them into, like, the mainstream. So now I see them announce stuff. Like, they just announced... Gosh, I wish I could remember his name. It's like Chun-Li or something like that.
Chun-Li is a Street Fighter.
Yeah, from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Well, they announced, it's a name similar to that, but it's a Marvel Comics character. They announced that they might be developing a movie for him in the MCU, and me, as seeing it, not knowing who that character is, I'm like, okay, cool. And then, like, 3 years from now, they're going to be like, we just announced this movie Part 2, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I love the part, walking around with like t-shirts and stuff.
You know, I guess they actually did get to some pretty unknown ones with a lot of the TV shows.
Yeah, did Runaways, Cloak and Dagger.
Like, not many people really kept up with those.
Yeah.
I heard the other day the original readership of Hellboy, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like it was in the thousands. Like, it wasn't, I don't think it was tens or hundreds of thousands.
And then the movie dropped and it got real big?
The movie dropped and it got real big.
Dang. I feel like that's kind of what happened with, like, Sin City, too, is, like, it was kind of more of a cult classic comic book, and then they made the movie, and more people were like, oh, that was pretty neat.
I didn't even know that was based off of a comic book.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually started as a parody to Sin City.
What?
Yeah, in the comic books, it was all black and white and drawn in Sin City art style, and they were making fun of the over-exaggerated characters in Sin City.
Wow.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic started out as a parody to Sin City, and then slowly developed into its own thing, and now it's its entire own franchise, way more popular than Sin City has ever been.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Was the Power Rangers a comic?
I don't think it came from a comic. It's definitely a comic now, but I don't think it came from a comic. It came from a Japanese show.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Super Sentai.
I knew that
or
actually.
like that.
They ripped like a lot of the show from that show.
Yeah, it was like all the fighting and storylines and everything.
Yeah.
And then they just like what we saw from the like American Kids was like really the only thing they shot for a while, I think, until maybe like the movie.
Right.
Strict quality control on the system of Morphia, and this instruction cassette provided
They actually had a new comic. I wish I could remember the exact name of it. Have you ever read the Old Man Logan storyline comic book?
No.
It's basically like Wolverine's tricked into killing all the X-Men. It's kind of what Logan's based on, the movie Logan. He's tricked into killing all of the X-Men, and so he just refuses to fight, like, all this stuff. He doesn't do anything anymore, and he just becomes an old man. And then Hawkeye comes to him, he's like, I need you to help me. So he goes back out and starts fighting again. It's a really good storyline. But apparently they did something like that in a recent Power Rangers comic with Tommy Oliver, the original Green Ranger.
Yeah.
He's gotten super old and is, like, not necessarily a Power Ranger anymore. But his daughter gets kidnapped, and he's like, well, I've got to go get her back. And it's like an old man Logan storyline, but for Tommy in Power Rangers.
I thought he got in trouble for, like, bad, like, something weird recently, didn't he?
I don't think
One
so
of the
that I can
Power
remember.
Rangers, I thought it was the Green Ranger got in, like, deep actual legal trouble.
I don't think it was him. That dude, as far as I know, is pretty, like... He still posts on Instagram and everything, and he like goes to cons pretty regularly.
Or was it one of the Rangers that actually like we found out he was like some sexual healing masseuse?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Oh man,
he's like a gigolo now. One of them's like a gigolo now, like a professional gigolo.
Please be careful.
The Red Ranger. I have heard about that.
Yeah, totally.
I have heard about that.
And I don't think he really wanted anybody to know until one day, I guess somebody was like, "Aren't you a Power Ranger?"
He's like, "Shut up."
Shut up.
What is going on?
Now, find
You have not been watching
I don't
this
know,
very much.
but I did see a computer in it a moment ago that was like more of a 70s style computer where it was a lot of flashing lights and switches and a gigantic machine.
That is one thing I would say about Rogue One, and I think that we mentioned it in our big Star Wars podcast. I love that they kept like the beep beep, like what like the 1970s futurized.
They went out of their way
technology.
to make it look like the sets were borrowed directly from the original films.
And they even did like the starships, how 70s Star Wars did it, and had like the like just kind of had strings on ships and like led them across the camera to make it all look the same.
You know, this is terrible because I've been hyping up this fan film, but I watched so many fan films last night. I can't remember which one this is, but it's either the one I'm telling you about or the Darth Maul one that take place in a world that looked exactly like it was in Rogue One.
Really?
Like, very much of a lush Caribbean atmosphere.
That's cool. Rogue One, I feel like, is a pretty underrated Star Wars movie. It is really good, Rogue One.
The only, like, it's not the biggest, I mean, it is the biggest issue I have with Rogue One, but it's not really an issue because there's zero way to justify this whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wish we would have gotten just so much more character development for all those badasses. I mean, they all die. Like, there's no way for him to do it.
Yeah.
It's super selfish of me to be like, well, you should have hit pause and made 6 more movies before you finish this one, you know?
Yeah.
But I think, I want to see a Miralaka in, which we talked about this and that too, the blind race in Star Wars. I want to see a Miralaka Jedi, like, featured. And there's only ever been a few of them. And, like, actual known Jedi, the most famous one was the one that was turned to the dark side. Mm-hmm. And he had like the 2 little skinny things over where his eyes would be.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. And then there was the really famous one. I think she dual wielded sabers that she had the veil over her face and like pale skin and like a big red veil. And she was a Jedi. If you've ever seen pictures of her, but those are like the only 2 that have ever been really in. And I think that both of those were in the EU.
Yeah. Which is now doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as I go to Wikipedia and they still have canon, non-canon options, then I'm happy.
They are actually making. I don't know if you've heard about this. You probably have. They are making a Cassian Andor television series for Disney Plus.
Yeah, I heard that.
And Diego Luna is coming back, and I think they said K2SO is coming back.
Well, that's good then, because that means they're rewinding it. They're doing a pre.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing it like before Rogue One happened.
Oh,
and it's
well,
like,
cool. Then maybe we'll actually get a little bit more backstory.
Yeah, it's like him, at least for him, and K2SO.
Right. I mean, they can't, because it's kind of like they all met for the first time in Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
So they, yeah.
And I mean, I was really sad at the ending of Rogue One because everybody died, and I had spent an entire movie liking those characters.
Right.
But I mean, it does kind of make sense because if they didn't die, there is literally no logical explanation to try and explain why they aren't in 4.
Right.
Like, there's
of course
they would be there.
Ever seen again.
Jyn
None of them
Erso
were inspired.
Jyn Erso would 100% be up there giving them like the details to the Death Star. Her dad made it, and so like it makes sense that they died because that's why they're not there.
Wasn't it your theory that she popped out Rey sometime in there?
Well, it's my fan film. it's my fan film that and it only developed from the fact that she wore a kyber crystal the entire time, and the entire movie they were like kyber crystal, kyber crystal, kyber crystal, kyber crystal, and then nothing came from it.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, something's got to come from it. So that's where that entire fan fiction came from. And if you would like to hear more on that, please listen to our Star Wars podcast, the very beginning episodes of the Scruffy Movies podcast, because I go into detail on my fan story.
That was like the second one we did.
Yeah. I remember I was so excited to tell you about it, and I was like, should I just say it now? And you're like, I don't care. And I was like,
now you have to.
I'm going to say it now.
Now you have to. Which, honestly, we could go back and do a 4-hour-long podcast on Star Wars.
Yeah, we really could. I feel like our second episode especially was not as... Because we were trying to keep it, like, kind of on time.
We want everybody to know we hate all the decisions they made, but we love Star Wars.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Here are some specific examples.
Follow us on Instagram.
Do you want another drink?
Flowers for you. I wanted to bring you something, and that's all I could think
Oh,
of.
man, I don't even know what's going on. We stopped watching this, like, 20 minutes
I know.
ago.
I've kind of been paying attention.
B. Arthur's on screen.
I was
A
about to
Golden
say,
Girl.
Yeah. She's the only one so far that out of the Jefferson Starship that I've been like, oh yeah, I recognize that.
Besides, like, the actual Star Wars actors.
Yes, of course.
Just of the guest stars, yeah, she's the only one I've been like, oh,
All he said
B.
was
Arthur.
6 simple words. Come, Dax. I'll be waiting.
After all, only words, I
They were
promise.
more than words. I knew that at the time. That's why I went
Man,
home.
there's such weird zooms in the
About what you
70s.
said.
I feel like all you had to do to be a camera person in the 70s was to show up to set and be like, hey, can I be a camera person? And they're like,
Yeah.
sure, all right.
Or show or try out for a movie and like, you didn't get it, but we need somebody on camera for it, and
Yeah.
you know, you're not going to be in front of it, but you're going to paycheck.
A man can live as long as
Yeah.
I have, through all the ups and downs. And just when he thinks it's
Which
all
I
over,
was in a TV production class in college. Actually pretty fun to be behind a camera and like listening to a director give you
Oh,
cues
bro,
and stuff.
If you've
Pretty
been,
sweet.
if you've had a single production class, we could totally make a fan film. You have all the knowledge we need.
I know specifically, and it's one thing that a lot of amateur filmmakers fail to do, to get focused into everything that's on screen and have nothing out of focus. You need to set up your shot, zoom in as far as you possibly can, focus on whatever you're zoomed in as far as you possibly can,
Yeah.
and then zoom back out, and your focus is set for the entire shot. Because you focus on the farthest away thing, so anything that happens in
Right.
front of the camera is going to be in focus.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's the one, like, big piece of information where I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But again, back in these days, like, people were still, quote unquote, breaking the rules with how you shoot movies and, like, you know, leading the way of changing filmography and camera movement and angles and everything else. Like, now, if anybody does anything weird, it'd be like, oh, they harkened back to this one person that did this one thing, you know, or like, oh, they're taking a page out of somebody else's book.
Yeah.
But back in going into the 80s, there was still some opportunity for people to, like, really be doing new things and figuring stuff out.
Yeah, and I feel like there are a few filmmakers who still try and take those kind of risks. James Wan is one I can think of, who specifically in the two big blockbusters he's made, Aquaman and Furious 7, there is a shot in Furious 7 where The Rock rock bottoms Jason Statham, and the camera follows him through the rock bottom, which is sweet to watch. The camera like flips around. Same thing happens in Aquaman. I'm on my third mic, sorry.
The dude that looks like Maui.
Yeah, Jason Momoa
That's him.
picks up a guy and like flips him upside down into like an electrical
Fence.
no
Great. Prod.
box.
I'm just throwing out nouns.
like an electrical box, and he like flips him upside down into it, and the camera, since the guy is standing upright, is sitting upright, and then as he flips, the camera follows the guy being flipped to where in the movie it ends up like halfway across the screen, like turned upside down. It's really cool to watch.
My favorite, just like weird one, is in Pulp Fiction when they focus is it Ving Rhames? Was that who was in Pulp Fiction? The big black guy.
Ving Rhames.
Okay. When they focus on the back of his head, and you see the Band-Aid, and then Bruce Willis is like out of focus. So you focused on the back of the dude's head and not the person you're supposed to be focusing on. But it did so much for that scene. Like it drove it home. And you're like, I wonder how he got that cut on the back of his head.
There's a really cool one also in the first Evil Dead movie where the camera starts like flipped upside down on the back of Bruce Campbell's head, and then it flips like up and over him to go like upright. And it's like as everything's going wrong, so he walks in and like that shot happens and it goes to him and he's like freaking out. There's a lot of camera work too that like it elicits emotions even subconsciously in a lot of people because that's just the way that you've been taught to see stuff.
Right.
If you ever notice a camera shot of somebody shot up from down low, that elicits power and strength because that person is taller than you.
Right.
Like a lot of horror movies, Halloween specifically is pretty bad about it, will shoot Michael from up to make him seem scarier than he is.
And I would imagine back in those days too, like if you wanted to do a looping shot, you probably didn't have great stabilization technology. The cameras are freaking huge.
Yeah,
and
I don't
needed
think
an
there's
actual track for them to run on. Like you couldn't just be like, oh, we're just gonna hook it up to this wire, really, just, exactly, and pull it around real quick.
Yeah. There's best use of Steadicam I can think of is in which is another Quentin Tarantino movie, Kill Bill, where it's like that entire one take that was like 14 minutes at the end of Kill Bill Volume 1, where he's like going upstairs and downstairs into different rooms right before like the huge fight happens between Uma Thurman and like Lucy Liu's girls.
Man, I know. I watched Kill Bills back to back.
That's a movie I need to watch again.
Me too. That's what I was just thinking.
I loved Kill Bill, but I have not seen it in a long time.
I remember all the high points, but I wouldn't be able to do like a deep dive on it.
I wouldn't either. I actually bought this, which I think is an import from Canada, like freshman year as well, because I didn't have any of the Quentin Tarantino movies.
What?
Yeah.
You have 10,000 movies and you didn't have any of the Quentin Tarantino movies?
I fixed that. Now I have them all. And so it just takes you through like all of them. And I'm really mad at myself because it actually came with the bride's sword, like a little mini fig sword from Kill Bill. But I hadn't seen Kill Bill at that point, and so I just gave it away. And I'm really mad at myself that I did not keep it. The only reason I think it's from Canada is because it says it in French on the bottom, and that's how you can normally tell it's from Canada. It's an import. Because Canada has the same region DVD as the USA.
I mean, I need to go back and watch Jackie Brown, too.
I have never finished Jackie Brown. I started it, but I've never finished it, honestly. Man, that Tarantino episode is going to be lit.
I forgot about Death Proof, too.
Death Proof?
You know who, I was going to say I know a guy. I don't know a guy, but I saw I know who and like what he does. The dude that actually wound up with a Death Proof car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's still in the car world. His dad like built it for the movie,
That's pretty cool.
and then he wound up getting it as like one of his first vehicles. So
That's pretty sweet.
yeah, he's a big hot rod guy now, and I'm in the car world pretty deep, which is how I like know what he's up to.
Yeah. I was
Well,
really.
you still need the most recent.
I got him.
Okay.
This is just the collection that it came with. But I have Inglourious Bastards and Hateful Eight. I have
Django.
Yeah, I have Django. I have the entire Tarantino filmography.
Yeah.
Death Proof was a weird one for me because watching Grindhouse, I was so super excited to see Death Proof because I really like Robert Rodriguez and I really like his movies, but for all intents and purposes, Quentin Tarantino movies are much better than Robert Rodriguez movies.
Oh yeah.
I would much rather pop in Inglourious Bastards than Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
Right.
But man, that Planet Terror way outshined Death Proof and Grindhouse. I felt like Robert Rodriguez.
Planet Terror?
Have you never seen Grindhouse? Have you only ever seen Death Proof?
I guess so. Oh, Grindhouse sounds so familiar though.
It was released. Death Proof was released as Grindhouse, which was a double feature of a Quentin Tarantino movie and a Robert Rodriguez movie.
Okay, see, I've heard it referred to as before, and I've been like, well, I'll log that one as got to check by it.
Yeah, and that actually the Machete film franchise started out as just like a fake trailer that they made.
I knew
the
that.
movie.
Yeah, I did know that.
The movie Hobo with a Shotgun. That was another one that was just a fake trailer
I
before
don't know if I've
Grindhouse.
seen that one.
That one's actually pretty good. Really weird, but pretty good.
The Machete franchise. You know, I used a GIF the other day that was, oh boy, what's his name, with the Leia curls.
Hmm?
Oh, the Machete, what's his name?
Danny Trejo?
Danny Trejo. When was it that he had the Princess Leia buns on the side of his head? God, what was it? Well, I used that the other day.
There's probably the most famous line from Machete is that Machete don't text. That line.
Yeah.
And the fun piece of trivia, Robert Rodriguez actually was texting Danny Trejo and being like, hey man, here's a new Machete update. And he just didn't get any text back. And he's like, why is he ignoring me? And then like called him on the phone and he was like, Danny, dude, I've been texting you. Why are you ignoring me? And he said word for word, he was like, Machete don't text. And he's like, well, that's amazing. And he put that in the movie.
I could see that. Totally. It looks like he's playing Minecraft on TV right now.
I know.
Return to base. Message received and obeyed.
Why is his cord so long? For that walkie-talkie. People can fly in space in this world. You can't get a radio signal out that far?
I know. Without a whip antenna that looks like it belongs on a CB radio.
Without an antenna that's literally going from where you're standing at on the planet to touching the spaceship in space. It's like those old cans connected with a string. They're just talking through it. The guy's just whispering into the antenna from the spaceship. Oh man, 20 minutes left. We almost did it.
20 minutes left. I don't know. Did we get started right? Like, are we going to end right on the hour?
I don't know.
I don't know how much we got left.
It says an hour 21 on the Blu-ray player.
God, it's been so long since I've actually used a DVD, Blu-ray, or VHS player.
You just stream now?
Stream life, baby.
Yeah.
Or you also have to remember, even if I throw a disc into my Xbox, it doesn't have a screen on it.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, I watch it on my PlayStation out in the living room. But every once in a while when I do come into the movie room to watch a movie, this just happens to be the Blu-ray player that I have.
I expect you at some point to get like a wall-size projector TV in here. And stadium seating.
I actually, no joke, saw a projector at like Ross or Marshall's today, and it was only $70.
Well, there's a
For, like, a
difference in
huge
a projector, like an office projector, and
No,
then,
it was like-
project my TV.
No, that's what it was. It was like for a TV projector, yeah.
Well, all you need is a white sheet hung up on that wall.
I know. I mean, it was $70.
Get you some pulley action so you could just like pulley it up to the ceiling when you're not using it.
There's a guy I follow on Instagram. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember his name on Instagram. So if you guys are interested, you could go check him out. He makes a lot of really cool custom VHSs, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember his name. But he has a projector, and it just like projects onto a wall in his living room, and he has like his TV hooked up to it and everything. He just watches TV on it.
Nice.
And like we'll post when he's watching movies and stuff. He's like, now watching, and it's literally just a wall in his house that's like a screen. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, we used to like rent the projector from the school because you could totally do that when we were in college, and then would all go up to a lake house at Lake Hartwell and just like all the whole fraternity, a bunch of guys in the fraternity, and we'd grab the gals and go up there. And would hang a sheet up on the dock, like at the lake,
That's
and
pretty
then
cool.
just get everybody piled down there on the dock with lounge chairs and lawn chairs, and then just watch we watched concerts, movies, all kinds of stuff
Yeah,
down there, actually on the water, and that was really cool.
that is really cool.
And the projector was free to rent, like as long as you were the first dude that got to the library on Friday to check it out for the whole weekend, because they only had like 3.
There's I don't know who put it on, but there's something I really want to go to. They did it once, and now they kind of do it every summer. But it's at a lake, and they put up a giant screen on the edge of a lake,
Yeah.
and they show Jaws. And then you go there and you buy a ticket, and when you buy a ticket, you rent an inner tube, and so you sit on inner tube like chairs in the water, and they show you Jaws as you're in the water of this lake in summertime, and it looks
That's
like
pretty cool.
it would be so much fun to go
I've
to.
seen it wasn't a movie, but I've seen things projected and played onto a water mist screen,
That's pretty cool.
like where it's just like mist coming straight down, and they can
Yeah.
project onto it, and it gives a little 3D effect too.
Yeah, the only time I've seen that is in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney World. They started doing
Yeah.
that. They like project. I don't even think it's mist either. It's like fog,
Right.
and they put like Davy Jones's face on it, and then
Yeah.
you like go through the fog. It's
It
pretty
was.
cool.
Chewie's home. Chewie's home now.
Yeah,
ladies and
Chewie and
gentlemen.
Han got home.
Chewie made it home.
We
Happy ending. Yes.
This commentary has gone off the rails.
Nah, we're staying pretty well on the rails. We're
No
not paying no
way.
attention to the movie, but we're having great commentary.
No, we're talking about Quentin Tarantino and the Star Wars The Holiday
This is
Special.
Scruffy Movies Podcast. We talk about what we want to.
That's what I put. I don't
We're
know.
talking about it's SeaWorld when I saw the water mist projector. So we were both in Florida when we saw it.
I don't know if you saw the last description of the podcast. I was mentioning what we talked about in Home Alone, and I was like, we also discussed the dynamic changes between the nuclear
Yes.
families to do.
Yes, I did see that. I always check it out. Bro, you kill me with the images you pick for the thumbnails. Shout out to you live in a podcast for being awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to me.
You are instructed to turn on your comlink immediately.
Oh, man, I'm getting more lit off of 3 Mike Sards than I thought I was going to.
You and those Mike Sarge, dude. Oh my goodness.
This is the only thing I like. I don't understand why you would choose to drink a Heineken, which tastes terrible,
Tastes
instead
awesome.
of a lemonade.
Because I'm telling you, it's the sugar. But
Well,
you have to remember, I'm not like a candy guy or anything either.
You're not like a big sweets guy.
Like at all.
Yeah.
So what most people have is their limit of sugar intake. Mine is like a quarter of that.
Yeah. I drank a bunch of Smirnoff Ices when we had a recent event at work. I drank I drank 5 of a 6-pack of Smirnoff Ices, and the sugar killed me from those. The entire next day, my heart was just racing, and I felt terrible.
So,
But Mike's Hards, they don't do it for me anymore. I've drank so much Mike's Hards, it just doesn't do anything.
Jack
anymore.
Daniels for a little while had a lemonade that might,
really?
just to switch it up, you might want to see if
Wow.
those still exist. Something I learned about Smirnoff Ice is in other countries, they sell that by like the handle, like the bottle. Like you buy, you just go buy like a handle of vodka, a handle of whiskey. You go buy a handle of Smirnoff Ice, and then pour your own drinks out of it.
Huh.
And,
I didn't know that either.
Which I guess that's something that they do in other countries more than we do here anyway, is like everybody in other countries buys like a 2-liter Coca-Cola or whatever it is, and we'll buy like a 6-pack of cans. Like they don't really, like over here, we like our individual servings.
Yeah.
You know?
It's because we're stupid.
Yes.
It's much easier for us to be like, 1 drink for me, please, instead of like, just pour you a cup. And they're like,
I don't understand.
I don't want to pour a cup. Just give me my can.
Then how are we going to know which one's mine?
How are we going to know how much I've had?
Yeah.
I just want 1 can.
You need precisely 16 ounces.
We're stupid.
And the logistics behind packaging and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't. What if I don't have a cup? Just give me my can.
Are we watching a Wookiee religious ceremony right now?
Yeah, this is Life Day. They just hold up some flashlights at the stars. Oh,
It's like they tried to impersonate like the Japanese lantern thing,
going on, dude?
but then they were like, we don't actually have lanterns. Oh,
Wookiees are walking through space. I think they're all dead. They're in heaven.
I was about to say, you don't. I guess if there's no Jesus in this universe, then it's not really impressive, the whole walking on water thing, because they're just like trucking through space.
I did see something really funny in like Cars merchandise, the movie Cars, the Disney Pixar movie Cars. In a bunch of Cars merchandise that came out, there is a Pope-mobile car. And somebody's like, if there's a Pope-mobile car, then that means that religion exists in the Cars universe, which means that a Jesus car was crucified on the cross in order to get us to this religious point that we are, where there's a Pope-mobile car. And they're like, so there was a car crucified on a cross in the Cars universe.
So how does that work though? Because a lot of in the Cars universe, the age of the car is directly proportional to the age of the car.
I don't.
The Hudson Hornet, Hudsons are old, so he's an old man.
Somebody tweeted back and said his name was Jesus Chrysler, and that's like the one comment I remember from that post.
Jesus Chrysler.
I don't know. It's weird to think about that kind of stuff. So the Star Wars Holiday Special, I feel like did it not so strange because they were like, oh, it's just a holiday that happens that's like Christmas,
right?
But it's Star Wars. It's
which is I guess why they kind of go out of their way to say it's a holiday special, not a Christmas special,
right?
But we haven't really seen any traditional Christmassy things either. Like you could play this for like in literally any holiday and be Easter. Like, this is just their version.
Yeah. Any holiday where you like celebrate with family and get presents.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen presents yet, have we? Or did we?
Yeah, the Trading Post guy gave Lumpy a present.
Well, that's just because he's a cool bro that always brings presents every time he comes over.
This is the promise of the tree of life.
He's just a cool dude, man.
The promise of the tree of life.
We celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony.
Man, this is Carrie Fisher singing right now, ladies and gentlemen.
A day of joy.
Star Wars the musical.
It exists, and I've seen it.
Excuse me?
It exists. Somebody made it.
Like fan?
Yeah, like a fan made it and put it up on like off Broadway, and then sold the rights and was like, okay, people can perform it. And White County High School actually put it on a couple of years ago.
Star Wars the musical?
Yeah.
Really?
And when I was down here visiting my wife before she was my wife, she was like, hey, the high school, and I have a couple friends in it. She knew the guy who was playing Han Solo. She's like, I have a couple friends that are going to be in Star Wars the musical that they're putting on. Do you want to go? And I was like, yes? Are you kidding me? And I don't remember much about it. I don't remember like specific songs or anything, but I remember it was very good.
If there's
I
one
liked
thing,
it a lot, actually.
I can honestly say I haven't been to a high school play since high school. I do not believe.
That's the only one I think I've been to since high school. Is that one. Also, call back to earlier in the episode, there was also an Evil Dead the musical that is amazing. that like makes fun of the Evil Dead movies as it's like going through the musical and stuff. It's
That's
just
pretty
really,
cool.
really, really good.
This looks like sort of like the climax end point of the film.
Yeah, I think this is like the end point. I think that we might have made it. We got off the rails the last 30 minutes probably because I cracked open this third Mike's Hard lemonade.
I don't think anybody wanted us to sit here quietly and let them listen in
watch.
the background. When you get
Finally.
the famous theme.
Chewie gets his due as they're playing this song. Flying back out for episode 5.
Hollow chess.
That is from episode 4.
Which I thought, yeah,
That's from episode 4.
totally practicing. They had an awesome little callback to the hollow chess in the Solo movie.
And in Star Wars episode 7.
Yeah, where
The hollow chest starts immediately where we see it left off in episode 4.
yeah.
Also, can we just all agree that the like shot of Darth Vader just destroying people at the end of Rogue One is quite possibly the coolest we've ever seen Darth Vader
Oh, the
in a
hallway
movie?
scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the coolest scene featuring Darth Vader
I mean,
in a movie.
yeah, totally.
In a
Hands
Star
down.
Wars movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was like the 2-minute clip of what we've always wanted from Vader.
Yeah. And I remember being like, I didn't know going into Rogue One that we were going to get, oh wait, this is kind of Christmassy. That's a Christmas.
Oh, that
Is that a Christmas
actually
tree?
looks like a Christmas something. It's hard to tell.
Oh no, I think it was one of their things they were holding up.
Oh yeah, totally.
Or like a
Crystal balls.
table. Yeah, the crystal balls. But yeah, going into Rogue One, I didn't know we were gonna get like an entire space battle. I did not know we were gonna get that scene with Darth Vader. But I remember
I remember someone saying that he was going to get a little bit of his due.
I knew he was in it, but I didn't know we were gonna get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when people were like, "Help us, help!" and then the lights cut out, and you just hear like, I was like, "Yes, yes!" Like I immediately was like, "Yes, please, please, yes, yes, yes." And then I've always wanted to see a shot, always. And this was actually a parody movie I wrote when I was in like middle school called The Playground Wars, where somebody was going to be in the dark, and when they turned on their lightsaber, it illuminated their face. Because we've never seen that before in a Star Wars movie.
Rogue One
We
was the
hadn't-
first time lightsaber was used as a light
As a
source.
light source.
Yeah.
And so...
That's how deep we roll on Scruffy movies. Oh yeah, for sure.
And so whenever it was like dark, and then we just saw like, I was like, yes! All right, everybody, we have made it to the end. We did it. Directed by Steve Binder.
It is pretty much exactly what I
Songs by
expected.
Mitzi and Ken Welch.
Oh,
George Lucas had nothing to do with it, and neither
the
did
Welch
John Williams.
sisters. I think I actually recognize them.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
I thought you were kidding.
No, I think I've heard that name before. I think they went by the Welch sisters or something.
But Marcy, Lisa, and Pam don't care for the way they're going to be used.
All right, we don't have to let them pay our bills, so we won't listen through that. Did I just see Tim Burton's name?
I don't know. Does that say Charky Phillips?
Charky.
Assistant choreographer, Charky Phillips. All right, everybody, we appreciate you listening. We definitely got off the rails. So for the first 40 minutes or so, we were commentating on Star Wars: The Holiday Special. We ended up not commentating on it for the rest of the episode, but we hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, we didn't get a little too drunk talky for you. I don't feel drunk. I just feel happy. But
Because the sugar hadn't crashed yet.
Sugar hasn't crashed me yet. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Scruffy Movies, and
Crockalicious.
boom, I had 3 Mike's Hards and I remembered it now, rather than every other time we record this and I'm sober. So thank you guys for listening. We really hope you enjoyed. We hope you all have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Just please celebrate it by not watching Star Wars: The Holiday Special. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. We got a really cool episode coming for you guys, and we are super excited about it.
Bye.
Bing, 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 bing.